Good evening, and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada around the world. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm your host. I'm a fellow of Real Estate of Canada, broker of record for City Pro Realty Inc. brokerage, right here in Mississauga. Tonight, we're going to talk about consumer protection in real estate. It's very comforting for the consumer that real estate is regulated in the province of Ontario. The government of Ontario has appointed a regulator, Real Estate Council of Ontario, that enforces the real estate salesperson, brokers, and brokerage to follow the law. They protect the public interest through fair, safe, and informed marketplace. And this is why it's very important for you to know that there is a protection available to consumers, and they are governed by the board of directors of management and team and committees that regulate the real estate profession in Ontario. I am one of the candidates now for election 2022 RICO for Region 1. If you are a realtor, please vote for me. You will be getting a notification on March 6th by email from RICO to select the Region 1 and vote for Tahir Qureshi. We're going to talk about what are the legislation, the bylaws, and the policy that Real Estate Council implement in real estate. The law says, and this is how Real Estate Council first educate. They trained real estate professional who wants to be in real estate to take the courses and complete their education. When that education is completed, they also register them. They have to be appointed or recommended by a brokerage. So newer salesperson cannot open a brokerage. They have to join a brokerage. It could be a corporation, it could be a partnership, or a self-employed. All those who have completed 2 years and their broker exam pass, they can be registered as a self-employed. So you have a corporation, partners, or brokerage. So when they're licensed under the Business Broker Act, which soon to be Teresa Act 2002 on April 1st, 2023. So that means there are a couple of reasons. Number one is education. They need to qualify. Second thing is they need to have registration through the brokerage. Number three is consumer protection. And number four is compliance. So that means first you complete your education, then you register as a real estate agent. After 2 years, you can pass a broker exam and you become a broker. Then you can open as a brokerage if you want. So, but the brokerage word is the one that give you the authority because you become a complying officer and you follow the protocol. You can go to rico.on.ca and then you can find out more. For consumers, especially if you are first-time home buyer or you're buying and selling, you can see their guidelines, the video our registrar has put out for everyone. So idea is to have informed a consumer that and fair, and they want to make sure the marketplace is benefiting for the protection that's available to consumer. You remember when you give a deposit to the brokerage, that deposit is protected because those who are collecting the money from you from the brokerage are registered under Section 27 of the Real Estate Business Broker Act. This is the Bible. This is the book that we have, Real Estate Business Broker Act 2002, that everybody should know. And we talk about the other areas where we talk about the Code of Ethics, Ontario Regulation 580/5, which talks about certain things. We're going to talk about that today. It's very important because it's built the confidence consumer. When they will come to you and someone is going to present that I am a realtor, I'm going to register you, list your property for marketing or help you to buy the property. The first thing you got to do is to ask them to show you the license. If not, you go to ricoon.ca and check it out. If the name of the person that comes to you with a business card that is registered, he must have in his possession the certificate of registration with RICO. I think I have shared that before with you, but I'm going to look for this and I'm going to share with you also, because this is very, very important to have that registration. So I'm going to look for that. I'm going to show you. And each time, and this is registration. Every realtor who is registered with RICO should have this in their position. It says right in the bottom, it must be in the position of the registrant who is registered to provide service under the law. Now, you can go to rico.on.ca. You can check it out, the brokerage name or the agent or the broker or salesperson. Their name will be there. So that's the first thing. Now you start working with them. They will sign, the BRA or listing agreement, seller representation agreement. So they are confirming to you they are licensed, registered, and anytime you give deposit, especially for the buyer, that brokerage has a protection. And you have to go to rico.on.ca and you can see that right now protection was 100,000, but it may go higher. We are waiting for new instructions coming up. So we are insured. We buy insurance. We pay RICO. If you do not have a registration valid, RICO will not renew it if you don't have insurance. So we pay insurance to make sure that in case that a consumer or something happens to the brokerage, their deposit is protected. And there are limitations. You have to go to the insurance policy to see how much protection is. And this is very, very important for you that we have a real estate council have two sections, one for consumer, one for registrant. Now, if you are a registrant, a realtor, please read the bullet which our registrar has given out to you. It gives you interpretation in terms of advertisement, dealing with your listing or dealing with your disclosure, multiple representation, home inspection requirement, mortgage financing, code of conduct. So the most important section of the REBA is the law, and also code of ethics, which is Ontario Regulation 580/5. That talks that this has a 53 section, and we talk about brokers who must be registered. We talk about fairness, honesty when we're conducting in real estate. It talks about conscientious and competent services. It talks about providing opinion. If we are licensed to provide opinion about real estate, but if there is any other opinion, you need to recommend them to other professional of the competence. The section 8 talks about services from others. You cannot give opinion. If you don't have a mortgage license, don't give opinion about the mortgage. And this is why it's very important. And dealing with other registrants, we are supposed to cooperate with all the other brokers and realtors who are working with us. And so very honestly to cooperate with each other. And also commission. Commission is not mandated by any regulation, by any authority. It is this level of services that you need between you and the buyer or the seller. And you negotiate that terms type of service you provide. What happens is when there is a dispute, consumer can go and complain against you. And this is where the recourse is, because they want to be fair. And there is a protocol for Real Estate Council of Ontario that provide compliance and enforcement. And they make decision and they take disciplinary action. So they can refuse the registration. They can refuse the renewal. They can suspend it, people, or revoke it, or go through the tribunal. Many, many actions. So if you are a consumer or even registrant, you should go and understand the process the Real Estate Council of Ontario takes. I'm reading all the time the issues here. Some complaint. For example, if you promise a client that that you're going to give some money back to them, you put that in the BRA that I am going to give you some discount or some gratuity toward your closing cost, and put it in a Schedule A of BRA or Schedule A of your listing agreement. Then your brokerage will hold that money from your commission upon completion of transaction and give it to them. Remember, that income that you're going to give them this discount or some kind of a incentive, that is to be reported in the income of the consumer. So they have to give you a SIN number, and so T5 can be issued. So I have seen some decision where people have promised verbally to the consumer they give money. For example, there was a old air condition, the deal was done, for example, and you said, oh, I'll buy you a new one. And after a week or so, the air conditioner stopped working. So the consumer say, you promised me you're going to give me a new air conditioner. Why don't you do that? So now they complain because they did not get this because you promised them. It should be in writing. So I'm giving you an example of it. So put in writing, because your brokerage can give that money to the consumer. They can buy air conditioner if they want, but it should be in a schedule. At that discount that you're going to give it to them or gratuity, it has to be reported by T5. You get the SIN number from them. Brokerage will take the SIN number and give it to them. This is why when you make promises, make sure they are fulfilled. Otherwise, they will go to complain to the RICO, Real Estate Council of Ontario, and there will be a hearing, go through the process. And RICO is very fair. They want to make sure that your complaint is based on facts. It's not acquisition without any facts. So you have to demonstrate that this is one. So there is a complete procedure. So now, when you talk about commission, you agree the commission terms and condition, who pays the commission. And remember, I talk about on other cases where sometime the real estate agent or broker may not show you a property because it has a less commission. And because somebody is giving you 2.5%, one giving you 1%, and you don't show the property, you are breaching the REBA, Code of Ethics. This is why it's very important that you must show all the property. You have a BRA. BRA says whatever the commission you have, you're going to get that commission. You tell the buyer, I'll show you all the property, but that guy is giving me less commission. You're going to pay from the pocket. And there's nothing wrong with that because you negotiated it already. BRA is already signed. It says how much you're going to get paid. So the buyer will be giving you that money difference. But if you do not show that property that they like about it, or they will like about it, or it meets their criteria, you are breaching REBA. And that's why it's very, very important. And if that thing is in the agreement and you already have protected, you can claim money from REBA because seller will give you 1%, 1.5% buyer can give you. But that has to be in writing. Therefore, it's very important. And you, before signing an agreement, either offer or a buyer representation or a seller representation agreement or APS, make sure you provide complete information about things before the client will sign it, consumer will sign it, because ultimate goal of real estate professional as a registrant is consumer protection in real estate. We are building awareness, confidence of consumer in real estate. And whether you are registrant or you're consumer or regulator, the goal is to protect consumer interest because you want to build confidence in the marketplace so people can rely upon you and deal with you rather than going and selling themselves. Okay. Now, everything that you talk about has to be in writing. This is the where problem is. When you have agreed something and it's not written in the agreement, then you have a problem and complaint will happen. If you spell out things in the BRA, you spell out a listing agreement, then you have nothing to worry about. It should be in writing. Similarly, when you sign BRA or listing agreement, you sorry, immediately give copy to your client. Now we are using digital e-signing, so everybody get a copy, electronically date time stamp. So we don't have that problem. But you still make sure they have the copy of the listing agreement or buyer purchase agreement or copy of the agreement of purchase and sale with all the amendments and notice of fulfillment. They are properly recognized and acknowledged, legible, send it to them. This is very important. Now, similarly, agreement with the customer is the same thing. There is a difference between customer. It appears to me that the customer's level of service may be eliminated in the TRISA. So you have to have your own representation on both sides to make sure you're both equal, because consumer protection is the key difference between the customer and the buyer representation agreement or a client versus customer. This is very important. Now, disclosure before multiple offers, especially when you have a multiple offer, you make sure that you are disclosing if you're giving any discount, if you have your offer, or you have interest in the property. There is a form for realtors, disclosure in acquisition of the property or disclosure in disposition of the property. You have to make sure that those are disclosed. If the seller is a realtor, make sure that is also disclosed, even though it could be a different brokerage, but you have to disclose that. Or if your buyer client is related to you, you have to disclose that. It's very important because you want to make sure that this is clear. Now, nature of relationship, you have to know, your client has to know is what type of relationship you have with them. Is the buyer representation or seller representation or a customer relationship? Or because especially sometimes property not listed on the market and your client is interested to buy that property. This is very important. And this is why, remember I talk about the section 19, property that meet buyer's criteria. When you are talking about commission and there is a property that meets their criteria and you don't show it, you're going to be in trouble. You're definitely going to have a complaint because client or consumer will figure this out sooner or later that you did not show a property that meets their criteria. So this is very, very important. We need to eliminate the need for complaint. We need to minimize this so we have an attitude, positive energy to create more building confidence, help the regulator to be more competent, professional, so minimize complaint so they can be proud of us being registrant, more responsible, protecting consumer interest, and be transparent, have a honesty, have integrity, professionalism, competent, and make sure that you are protecting their interest in your client. So this is why consumer protection real estate is very important, because this is the biggest decision of their life when they're buying a property worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they're going to be stuck with that property for a while, and they're going to sign up a mortgage commitment. There's other obligation. So this is your duty as a registrant when you have a client relationship at the brokerage and representing the buyer or the seller, that you raise the bar and make sure the client or the customer feel that their rights are protected. We are there to help them and make sure that they build that confidence for our industry. So it continue to have a positive impact on real estate. So now the most important thing is seller property information sheet. You know, sometimes you have seller property information sheet that talks about the historic about the property. If that form is there, give it to them. If you have that form signed and you do not give during presentation of the offers, and the buyer discover that later on, that you have that and you didn't give it, there could be a complaint. So if you have it, please deliver it to them. This is very important. And most important thing is material facts. Section 21 of Real Estate Business Broker Act, Code of Ethics, Ontario Regulation 580/5. 21, material facts, friends, realtors, professional, registrant. If you are taking a listing to sell a property, do some your due diligence and you discuss the disclosure aspect of the property with the client. If you have some challenges with the property, tell your client to fix them. This is why sometimes it's recommended to have a pre-inspection of the property. That's where you will get a list of discrepancy that there are problems, and then you can get them fixed. And then you say have a clean report that everything is fine, and then you are putting the property in the marketplace. There were challenges, it's been fixed because environmental protection. If your structural stability is an issue, if the windows are leaking, roofs are leaking, or you have a fungus in the basement or wall, it's been fixed, but it's still wet. There are so many things, discovery. Now we have cameras, they can discover behind the wall if there is a contamination or fungus growth behind the wall because of moisture build up. Remember that if there is a moisture, it's not going to go away. You can have cameras, those inspector can find out. Pay extra money to the inspector to check it out, to make sure the new walls are built. There's no grow house. There are certain plants that are allowed now under the law, up to 4 plants, I believe. But major changes, environmental hazards, you got to have inspection done. Do not waive inspection. Do make sure that inspection is done so the buyer is satisfied. Because if there is a challenge with structural, because anytime you do an addition to the house and you don't have a building permit, you're going to be in trouble. Because let's say somebody remove some walls and they put new columns there to support, to get rid of, create openness, but they did not get that permit from the city because you did a structure change. Therefore, if you do not disclose that, you're going to be in trouble. This is why you can go to city website and look at the property detail and see if there was permit obtained or not. And that's why it's very important to make sure disclosure is made. And this is your duty. You cannot say that you did not do due diligence. Mere listing is not the reason that we are hired to pay a reasonable commission. Therefore, it's very important for you to do diligence and get that information and share with your client, and make sure you have structure stability report for you if you have done any modification and there is a building permit. We're going to take a small break and we come back and we continue our conversation on consumer protection in real estate.
HK Movers, home, offices, apartments and delivery, big or small, we move it all.
HK Movers.
Local and long distance.
We also ship cars,
Scalar transport and moving services.
For service with a smile, give us a call.
Call Mr. Harminder 416-524-6704.
416-524-6704 पे.
Visit 140 Advance Boulevard, Unit number 10, Brampton.
long distance moving specialist.
HK Movers. HK Movers.
Are you going through a challenging time with your life? Pandit Nandha ji has experience in astrology, helping people by reading into their astrological charts along with future readings. The astrologer does reading of your face, palm, horoscope, vastu, planet, black magic removal, evil spells and spirits, voodoo, spiritual healer, love, removes jadoo, and many more. The astrologer has a center in Brampton with the name of Pandit Nandha ji, where you can visit him and find a solution to all your problems. Connect with him at 1-647-822-9607.
Babu Pan and Shawarma. Now serving from 4 locations.
KK Travel believe in providing everyone the first-class customer service. We take care not only for your air ticket, but dignity and respect as well. We are available for you anytime on WhatsApp, even while you are in Pakistan or any other destination. KK Travels guarantee lowest prices and are open to price match any airline.
We are KK Travels under supervision of Gas Khan at 905-367-9433 or visit www.gaskhontravels.com.
Welcome to EB Electronics. Please call 647-762-3956.
डिक्सी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और अप्लायंसेस पिछले 16 सालों से खरीदारों की खिदमत कर रहे हैं। हम लगातार 4 सालों से खरीदारों की पहली पसंद बने रहने का अवार्ड हासिल कर चुके हैं। हम किचनर्स, बॉश, वर्लपूल, एलजी, सैमसंग और जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक के ऑथराइज्ड डीलर हैं। 5 स्टार खिदमत का लुत्फ लें। हम आप सभी को टीवी सबसे ज्यादा रियायती दामों पर देने की गारंटी देते हैं। www.dixieelectronics.ca हमारी वेबसाइट पर जाएं या अभी कॉल करें 905-625-5900। सभी बहुत ही मुनासिब कीमत पर दस्तयाब हैं जो आप बाआसानी से ले सकते हैं। At Dixie, we sell quality and deliver confidence.
रमदान एक्सपो रमदान और ईद की जरूरियात के लिए बेहतरीन खरीदारी का मकाम है। 3 रोजा इवेंट में 200 से जायद नुमाइश कुनंदगान शामिल होंगे जो बुनियादी तौर पर इस्लामी लवाजमात, फैशन और बहुत कुछ पेश करेंगे। एक तफरीही कार्निवल का भी एहतमाम किया गया है जहां फैमिलीज, बच्चों, बड़ों और दोस्तों के साथ आप लुत्फानंदोज होंगे। रमजान एक्सपो में मारूफ रेस्टोरेंट भी शामिल हैं जो आपको अपना लजीज खाना पेश करेंगे ताकि आप अपने प्यारों के साथ लुत्फानंदोज हो सकें। The 6th Ramadan Expo by Muslim Womenpreneurs के साथ लुत्फानंदोज हो सकें। The 6th Ramadan Expo by Muslim Womenpreneurs 10, 11 और 12 मार्च को द इंटरनेशनल सेंटर मिसिसागा में मुनक्किद होगा। आप 10, 11 और 12 मार्च को द इंटरनेशनल सेंटर मिसिसागा में मुनक्किद होगा। आप आना मत भूलिएगा अपने फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली के साथ। HK Movers, home, offices, apartments and delivery, big or small, we move it all.
HK Movers.
Local and long distance,
We also ship cars.
Tailor transport and moving services.
For service with a smile, give us a call.
Call Mr. Harminder 416-524-6704.
416-524-6704 पे.
Visit 140 Advance Boulevard, Unit number 10, Brampton.
Long distance moving specialist.
HK Movers. HK Movers.
Good evening and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada around the world. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm your host. I am fellow of Realty Institute of Canada, broker of record for City Pro Realty Inc. brokerage. We're talking about consumer protection in real estate. We're very fortunate that our real estate profession is governed in Ontario and regulated by Real Estate Council of Ontario under Real Estate Business Broker Act of 2002, which is soon to be TRESA 2002 Act. This is very important for all of you to remember that anytime you have a challenge, if you understand it's been not protected, if someone has not done according to or the contravention to our regulation, if you're not happy, so you have an agency that can protect you. But I can assure you that majority of our real estate professionals, they are very honest, hardworking, competent. There are many registrants, and you can see that there may be knowledge and experience may be different, but we all follow the same law, Real Estate Business Broker Act. This is the regulation that we follow, and therefore knowledge could be different because I'm a fellow of Real Estate of Canada. I'm wearing the pin here on my shoulder on this side, and I'm also CIPS. I'm a certified international property specialist. I'm a fellow of Real Estate of Canada, and some more designation I have. Those are additional things not required by law. Therefore, it's important for registrant also to acquire additional knowledge by securing designation program available to them through NOD, through their board, and get those designations, because if you're dealing with seller's market, SRS is very important. If you're dealing with a buyer, you can take ABR, or if you want to be a fellow of Real Estate of Canada, then you can go to reic.ca and get that designation. If you deal with, you make a referral internationally, then you can get a CIPS, because that's a certified international property specialist designation of NAR. These create more. In Ontario, not only we have a regulator, we also have organized real estate. Canadian Real Estate Association, Ontario Real Estate Association, they create a lot of forms for us. Canadian Real Estate Association give us a MLS .ca that you all use, realtor.ca, you use them. And this is all sponsored by registrant. Then we have board. I'm a member of Mississauga Real Estate Board. I'm a member of Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. And we have these board. So we follow all the ethics of not only code of ethics from the regulator, but also from the board. So I have 6 designations, and each designation has its own code of ethics that I follow. And this is why it's important to get that, because it gives you more confidence. And you also learn the skill set, the knowledge. You can sharpen your skill and you can serve better to your client when you have acquired this knowledge, because there are legends in real estate profession, and you can associating with them. When you get those designations, you get experience. Their experience and knowledge rub off you, and not only you network, you create a teamwork, and you are able to make a referral beyond jurisdiction because they are licensed practitioners. When you are recommending someone out of your jurisdiction, as long as they are licensed and there are consumer protection laws in that country, you are able to make a referral and make some referral fee. Therefore, we have, for example, REIC has 10 chapters. So every province we have FRI who is licensed practitioner in that province. I make a referral, I get small fee for making a referral. So therefore, consumer can see that we are recommending professional who are licensed. Now, all the agreement, make sure when you are signing these agreements, they are legible. That's the requirement of section 27 of the Code of Ethics. This is very important. Now, copies of the agreement should be furnished to all people. So anytime you negotiate with a consumer, or consumer you are negotiating with brokerage and buyer or seller agent or salesperson or broker record, make sure you get a copy. Whatever you agreed in the BRA or in the listing agreement is your commitment with the brokerage and brokerage commitment with you. So if you want any specific instruction or expectation, put in a Schedule A attached to BRA or the listing agreement. This is very, very important. People predict, they think that they're expecting of all things, but they did not specify them. Professionalism in terms of compliance to the law, we are supposed to be following the highest professional standard in real estate, because this is the biggest decision of the consumer to buy, and we provide them and make sure the consumer feel protected, that they are dealing with a person who's working. He's a license. Show them the license and follow the code of ethics. You will never have a complaint against you, because you are working honestly, and you need to put food on table. For the consumer, please note one thing. Real estate professional, depending on your agreement, buyer, BRA, or listing service, you don't get paid until transaction completes. A registrant have to pay so many bills: the mortgages, payment, insurance, car, putting food on the table, and also pay for the car and drive to the back and forth several times to get this, and then wait for 3 months, 4 months to get paid. So we are the only profession, we only get paid when deal is done. Therefore, registrant, please make sure you follow up. Make sure that everything on the buyer and seller, whether you're cooperating or not, you are making sure all steps are being followed, and you are providing all the document to people involved. The biggest challenge right now we have is the difference between the appraised value and the APS that you have negotiated. So if the buyer doesn't have the money and your mortgage commitment is already, either you remove the condition, you'll be in trouble, because buyer may not have that money. So this is why it's very important to protect consumer, to make sure you have discussed, you create the budget, you set up the negotiating strategy, and do not burden your client with the money. And make sure when you are helping them, remember, buyer or seller buyer will propose a price and seller will negotiate that price. And once the agreement is made, it's between buyer and seller. But the transaction will not complete until the bank lends you the money. Unless some drastic changes happen in the marketplace, or Bank of Canada increase interest rate, and there is a gap between the appraisal, because bank always do appraisal 10 days before closing to make sure the APS stands for it. If there is a difference between APS and the appraisal, they're going to ask the buyer to pay the difference. So it's very, very important to stay close to it. Allow additional time to the buyer agent to get the mortgage properly done, because this is very important. I am also asking through this program to our legislator, please remove those stress tests. You don't need them, because you will increase interest rate by 4.25%, which is 2%, is the stress test. So officers should remove those requirements. I think we should ask all the member of parliament to help us increase the inventory of house across Canada. We have more immigrants are coming. Shortage of housing is a problem. All three levels of government has to work together to make sure the approval process is expedited. Still, it's taking too long to get the building permit to build these houses or subdivision, and then you have to wait 1 or 2 years. If we get all this centralized approval system today, it will take 2.5 to 3 years to complete a subdivision. Therefore, we're going to always have a problem, affordability and shortage of housing, because we have more immigrants coming. So you are watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Ent. Our goal is to follow the law, follow the code of ethics of Real Estate Council of Ontario, REBA, also for all the code of ethics of our organized real estate, Qureshi, Uria, TRAB, and Mississauga Board, and all those boards across Canada. And we want to make sure the consumer feel protected. And so we have a good confidence in real estate. So we have a continuing progress and more transaction in real estate. Our real estate in January has declined at the lowest possible. So we are hoping that the interest rate will not increase for now. Our recent poll shows that they are expected to have a 0.25% to 1% increase. This was a majority of the rule on my poll, that it's expected to increase 1%. We don't know whether it could be more or less. So you are watching Realty Coffee Talk. Please feel free to go visit my YouTube channel, Realty Coffee Talk, and please subscribe and watch our program. Our goal of Realty Coffee Talk is to increase awareness and building consumer confidence in real estate and promoting good ethic and business practices and professionalism in real estate. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Bye for now. May God bless you all. May God bless Canada. Thank you.